Ah, graveyard whispers, they scream, they whisper, they beg. From beneath the earth, from the darkness, from cold coffins. And I was the only one who could hear them. I was 10 years old when I resurrected my first dead child, 11 when I resurrected 9 of them, 12 when the world began to die. 3 billion people died because of my choice. I wanted friends. I got the apocalypse. This is the story of how loneliness destroyed civilization. My name is Lucy Dupont, and I killed the world. My mother used to say that the dead don't talk. She was wrong. They don't just talk. They scream, whisper, beg, cry. Thousands of voices merging into one endless howl of despair. And I was the only one who could hear them. This isn't a gift. It's a curse. But when I was 10 years old, I didn't know that yet. I thought I was just lonely, that I needed friends. I didn't understand that some friends are better left where they are, in the earth, in the darkness, in peace. This is the story of how I destroyed the world trying to stop being alone. It was a September morning in 2024 when I woke up for the last time in my old room. The walls were bare. Boxes stood by the door. The bed was the only thing left. Through the window, I could see lavender fields stretching to the horizon. A purple sea under a blue sky. I love that view. I would never see it again. Lucy! Breakfast, my mother called from downstairs. I pulled on jeans and my old cat t-shirt, my favorite, the one I felt like myself in. I don't know how to explain it. There are clothes you just wear, and then there are clothes that make you you. I went downstairs. The kitchen was empty too. Just a table, 2 chairs, suitcases by the entrance. Mom stood at the stove frying eggs. Hair in a bun, glasses on her nose. She always wore glasses when she worked. Even while cooking, she was working, running through blueprints, plans, deadlines in her head. Sit down, sweetheart. Big day today. I sat, stared at the eggs. Didn't feel like eating. Mom, do we really have to go? She sighed. Not the first time she'd heard this question. Honey, we've talked about this. Dad got an amazing job offer in Paris. And I got a contract for a new development district. This is our chance. What about my chance? Pause. She put the eggs on a plate in front of me. For you, a new school, new friends, new opportunities. I didn't answer. Just looked at the food. New friends. As if I had many old ones. I had none at all. At school, they called me strange. I didn't know why. I just didn't fit in. Too quiet, too introverted, read too much, talked too little. Children are cruel to those who are different. Lucy, eat, please. I picked up my fork, took a bite, chewed, swallowed. Tasteless. Dad came in with the last box. That's it. Car's loaded. We can go. Mark Dupont, my father. Tall, thin, always in a shirt and pants, even on weekends. He was a lawyer, spoke little, smiled rarely, worked always. I barely knew him. He was just there, in the house, at the table, in his office, but not with me. Never with me. Lucy, finish up. We have a 6-hour drive. I nodded, finished eating, stood up. Can I say goodbye to the garden? Mom looked at her watch. Quickly. 5 minutes. I went to the backyard, a small garden. The apple tree I read under in summer. The swing I rode on when I was little. The rose bed I helped Grandma plant. Grandma died 2 years ago. Then, Grandpa died. Now this house was dying. Everything I loved died. I sat on the swing, swung back and forth, closed my eyes. Wine rustled the apple tree branches. Birds sang. A dog barked somewhere far away. Lucy, time to go. I opened my eyes. Got up, looked at the house one last time. Small, cozy, mine. Not mine anymore. I went back to the car, got in the back seat, buckled up. Dad started the engine. Mom was checking something on her phone. We drove away. I watched out the window until the house disappeared around the bend. Goodbye, Provence. Hello, Paris. Hello, new life. That I would come to hate. 6 hours in a car is very long when you're 10 years old and have no one to talk to. Mom worked on her laptop, drawing something, calculating, calling clients. Dad drove the car. silently. Sometimes he'd turn on the news. Politics, economy. Boring. I looked out the window. Provence turned into the Rhone Valley. Hills became flatter. Lavender fields became vineyards. Vineyards became wheat fields. About 3 hours in, we stopped at a gas station. "Let's get something to eat," Dad said. We went into a roadside cafe, ordered sandwiches and coffee, hot chocolate for me. I sat stirring my chocolate with a spoon, watching the other customers. A family at the next table. Mom, Dad, 2 kids, a boy, and a girl. Laughing, talking, joking. I watched them and thought, why isn't it like that for me? Why don't my parents laugh? Why don't they talk to me just because, for no reason? Why do I feel like I'm extra? "Lucy, you're not drinking," Mom noticed, looking up from her phone. "It's still hot. Blow on it." I blew. Took a sip. Sweet. Cloying. But warming. "Mom, will it be the same? In Paris is here?" "What do you mean?" "Well, will you and Dad be just as busy?" She blinked, as if not understanding the question. "Sweetheart, we work to give you a good life." "I don't need a good life. I need you." Pause. Awkward. Mom looked at Dad. Dad looked at his phone. "Lucy, we'll discuss this later, okay? Finish your sandwich." I finished. Silently. We went back to the car. 3 more hours of driving. I took a book from my backpack. The Chronicles of Narnia. I'd read it 5 times already, but it was comforting. In Narnia, children were heroes. They were listened to. They were believed. In Narnia, I wouldn't be strange. I read until it got dark. Then I watched the lights of passing cars, listened to Mom typing on the keyboard, to Dad's occasional sighs. At 7 in the evening, we entered Paris. City of lights, city of love, city of dreams. For me, just a city. Big, noisy, foreign. We wound through narrow streets until we reached the outskirts, a quiet neighborhood. Old houses. Few people. Dad turned onto a small street and stopped in front of tall gates. "We're here." I looked out the window. A mansion, huge, gray, gloomy. This would be my new home, and I already hated it. The gates creaked when Dad opened them. Old hinges, long unoiled. We drove down a short driveway. Gravel crunched under the wheels. Before us rose the mansion. 3 stories, tall, narrow windows. A roof with sharp spires piercing the evening sky. Ivy wrapped around the walls, climbing to the 2nd floor. "Victorian style," Mom said, pleased. 1890s. Nearly perfect condition. "Looks creepy," Dad remarked. "Looks like a horror movie," I added. Mom snorted. "Don't be dramatic, Lucy. It's just an old house. Character. Charm. History. History. Yes. 130 years of history. I wondered how many people had died here in that time." We got out of the car. The air was humid. Smelled of rain and dampness. Crows cawed somewhere on the roof. Dad opened the front door. Heavy oak with stained glass. It was dark inside. He felt for the light switch. Light flared. I gasped. A huge entrance hall. Marble floor. Wooden stairs leading up with carved railings. A chandelier under the ceiling. Antique, crystal, dusty. And furniture. Furniture. Everywhere. The previous owners left everything, Mom explained. The family moved to Australia, only took personal items. I looked around. Armchairs, a sofa, a dresser, paintings on the walls, old oil paintings, landscapes, portraits of people in old-fashioned clothes, staring right at me. I shivered. It's cold in here. "I'll turn on the heat." Dad was already looking for the thermostat. Mom went deeper into the house. "Look, Lucy, living room, dining room, kitchen." Oh, what a kitchen. Marble countertops. I stayed in the entrance hall, looked at the stairs. They led upward, disappearing into the darkness of the 2nd floor. I didn't want to go up there, but I'd have to. My room was upstairs. "Lucy, come on, I'll show you your room," Mom called. I slowly walked to the stairs, stepped on the 1st step. Creak, 2nd step. Creak, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Each one groaned under my weight, as if the house was complaining about the intrusion. 2nd floor, a long hallway, 5 doors, dim light from a window at the end of the corridor. This one. Mom opened the 2nd door on the left. I entered. The room was big, too big for one child. High ceilings, parquet floor, an old canopy bed, a wardrobe, a desk, and a window. Huge. Floor to ceiling. I walked to it, looked out, and froze. Beyond the window, a couple 100 meters away, spread a cemetery. Huge. Endless. Rows of headstones stretching to the horizon. Crypts, statues, trees, everything gray, everything dead. That's Père Lachaise Cemetery, Mom said, coming up behind me. The most famous in Paris. Oscar Wilde, Jim Morrison, Edith Piaf are buried there. And Grandpa. We specifically chose a house nearby, so it would be easy to visit him. Grandpa, Henri Dupont, died a year ago. Lung cancer. Fast. 4 months from diagnosis to death. I loved him. He was the only one who understood me, who listened, who talked to me for hours about books, about life, about dreams. When he died, part of me died with him. Lucy, do you like the room? I didn't answer. Kept staring at the cemetery. Gray stones, black trees. Silence. Hi, Grandpa, I whispered. Mom patted my head. I'll leave you to it. Get settled. The bed's made. You can sleep if you're tired. We'll unpack the boxes tomorrow. She left. Closed the door. I was alone. In a huge room with a view of the cemetery. I lay down on the bed without undressing, stared at the ceiling. Somewhere downstairs, my parents were talking. Voices muffled. Couldn't make out words. Then silence. Just whined outside the window. And cawing crows. I closed my eyes, tried to sleep, but couldn't. Because in the silence, I heard something. Faint. Distant. Like a whisper. Thousands of whispers. Calling me. I woke from the cold. The room was icy, window closed, heat on. But the cold wasn't from outside, it was inside me. I sat up, looked at the clock. 3:47 in the morning. The witching hour, as Grandma used to say. The deadest time of night. I got up, bare feet on the cold parquet, walked to the window. The cemetery below bathed in moonlight, silvery, ghostly, beautiful, if it weren't so eerie. And then I saw it, a figure, small, child-sized, standing among the graves, motionless, staring right at my window. I jumped back, heart pounding, counted to 10, slowly, breathed deeply, then looked again. Nothing. Just graves, trees, shadows from the moon. I imagined it, I whispered. Just imagined it. But my hands were shaking. I went back to bed, pulled the blanket up to my chin, closed my eyes, and heard the whisper again. Louder now. Clearer. Not words. Just sound. Like wind. But not wind. Voices. Multiple voices. Calling. Pleading. Crying. I pressed my hands over my ears. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Repeated it like a mantra, but the voices didn't go away, only got louder. I jumped up, turned on the light. Silence, instant, complete. Only my breathing, fast, scared. I left the light on, lay back down, stared at the ceiling until morning, didn't sleep. Was afraid to close my eyes because I knew if I did, I'd hear them again. And this time, they'd be even louder. Morning came too quickly. Mom woke me at 7. Lucy, get up. First day at the new school today. I didn't want to go to school, wanted to stay in bed, with the light on, in silence. But I had to. Shower, breakfast, uniform, white blouse, blue skirt. I hated uniforms. Dad had already left for work. Mom was about to take me to school, but got an urgent call. Listen, honey, I need to go to the construction site. The school's 2 blocks from here. Here's the address. Can you manage? I nodded, silently. Left the house. It was cold. October morning, fog, dampness. I walked down the street looking at the map on my phone. 2 blocks north, then left. Parisian streets were narrow. Old buildings loomed on both sides. Few people at such an early hour. I reached the school, Collège Saint-Michel. Old building, stone walls, iron gates, groups of kids by the entrance, laughing, talking, knowing each other. I didn't know anyone. Deep breath. Went in. Principal's office. The secretary pointed the way. I went up to the second floor. The principal, Madame Levesque, a woman about 50. Stern, gray hair and a bun. Ah, Lucy Dupont. Welcome to Saint Michel. You're in class 5B. Here's your schedule. First class is math, room 204. She didn't even smile. I took the papers, went up to the third floor. Room 204. Door open. Class full. 30 kids, all looking at me. The teacher, a young man, Monsieur Durand, nodded. You're the new girl? Lucy? Yes. Sit there. Free seat by the window. I walked between the rows, felt the stares, heard whispers. Who's that? New girl. Looks weird. I sat down, got out my notebook, looked out the window. Class started. Algebra. Equations. Wasn't listening. Thinking about home, about the cemetery, about the voices. Break. Everyone ran out into the hallway. I stayed sitting. Hey, new girl? I turned around. 3 girls. Tall. Confident. Class leaders, apparently. You're Lucy? Yes, I'm Camilla. This is Sophie and Emma. Where are you from? Provence. The provinces. Sophie snorted. Boring there, right? It was fine. Why'd you move? Parents' work. Got it. Listen, we have our own rules here. Don't want problems, stay away from Leo. He's my boyfriend. Clear? I didn't even know who Leo was. Clear? Good. See you later. They left, laughing. That's how the first day went. Classes, breaks, lunch in the cafeteria, alone at a table in the corner, more classes, more breaks. Nobody approached, nobody talked. At 4 in the afternoon, I left school. Walked home. Fog was thickening, getting darker. I was passing the cemetery. Stopped. The gates were open. Black iron gates with the inscription, Cimetière du Père Lachaise. I didn't want to go in, but my feet carried me. I entered. The cemetery was huge. Not just big, huge. 44 hectares, 70,000 graves, a whole city of the dead. I walked along the main path, cobblestones underfoot, trees on the sides, old, bare, preparing for winter. Silence. Almost silence. Crows cawing, wind rustling leaves, and something else. The same whisper I'd heard at night. Faint, distant, but real. I walked further, past huge crypts, past marble angels, past headstones with names of people who died 100, 200 years ago. Section 47, where Grandpa was buried. I turned right, then left. Down a small path. Row 12. There was his grave. Simple. Gray granite. No decorations. Henri Dupont. 1948 to 2023. Loving grandfather and father. I knelt down. The ground was cold, damp. Hi, Grandpa. My voice sounded loud in the silence. It's me, Lucy. We moved. I live nearby now. I can see the cemetery from my window. Pause. Just wind. First day at school was bad. Nobody talked. Everyone looked at me like I was strange. My voice caught. I'm lonely, Grandpa. So lonely. I want to go home. To Provence. I want everything to be like it was before. When you were alive. Tears flowed. I didn't hold them back. Why did you die? Why did you leave me? You were the only one who understood. I cried, quietly, hopelessly. And then I heard it. A voice. Not Grandpa's. Different. A child's voice. Please help me. I froze. Tears dried instantly. It's so dark. So cold. Please. The voice was coming from the right. From the neighboring grave. I slowly turned my head. A small grave. A child's grave. White marble. A little angel on top. Jules Moreau. 2005 to 2015. Beloved son and brother. 10 years old. Died 10 years ago. At 10 years of age. My age. Can you hear me? The voice again, pleading. I couldn't speak. throat tight. Please say something. I know you hear me. I can feel it. I hear you, I whispered. Silence. Long, as if the voice didn't expect an answer. Then, an explosion of relief. You hear me? God, you hear me! Finally. Finally! Who are you? I found my voice. Jules Moreau. I'm here, underground, in darkness, for 10 years already. Alone. Always alone. But you're dead. Yes, but I'm still here. We're all still here, listening, waiting, hoping. Hoping for what? That someone will hear, that someone will help. And then I heard the others. First one voice, then two, 5, 10, dozens, hundreds, thousands. From all over the cemetery, from every grave, children's, adults, old, young. All whispering, pleading, crying, help, please. Been here so long, cold, dark, help. I pressed my hands over my ears, screamed. The voices didn't stop, got louder, merged into one deafening howl. I jumped up, ran, away from the cemetery, through paths, past crypts, past angels, not looking back. The voices chased, called. I ran out through the gates, into the street. The voices stopped, instantly. I stopped, breathing hard, hands shaking. People walked by. Nobody paid attention. Nobody heard the voices. Only me. I walked home quickly, almost ran, burst into the house, went up to my room, closed the door, sat on the bed, hugged my knees. It's not real. Dead people don't talk. It's just stress. The move, new school. I'm tired. That's all. Repeated it again and again. But didn't believe it. Because the voices were real. And I knew they'd come back. For 3 days I didn't leave the house after school. Straight home. To my room, door locked, homework, reading, sleep with the light on. The voices didn't go away. Every night they whispered outside the window, quietly, insistently. Lucy, come back. Help us. I tried not to listen. Turned on music, read out loud. Anything to drown them out. But on the 4th day, I couldn't take it. After school, I went down to the kitchen. Mom was making dinner. Mom, I need to tell you something. Yes, dear? She was cutting vegetables, not looking at me. I hear voices. The knife stopped. What voices? From the cemetery. Dead people. They talk to me. Mom slowly turned around. Lucy, what are you saying? I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. I hear them every night. They call me. Ask for help. Mom put down the knife, came over, sat down next to me. Sweetheart, listen to me. Moving is stressful. New house, new school, everything's unfamiliar. Your brain is coping the way it can. Sometimes that leads to imagining things. It's not imagining. Lucy, dead people don't talk. That's a scientific fact. But I hear them. No. You think you hear them, but it's just stress. She stroked my head. You know what? Let's get you an appointment with a psychologist. You can talk to a professional. It will help. I pulled away. I'm not crazy. Nobody's saying you're crazy. You just need help dealing with the move. I don't need help. I need you to believe me. Lucy, forget it. I ran out of the kitchen. Went up to my room, slammed the door, sat on the bed, cried. Mom didn't believe me. Of course she didn't. Nobody would believe me. I was alone, as always. That night the voices got louder, more insistent. One voice, louder than the rest. Familiar. Jules. Lucy, come back, please. Only you can help. I lay in bed, ears pressed with the pillow. I'm afraid, so afraid. 10 years in darkness, alone. Please? His voice was breaking, like he was crying. Just come. Talk to me. I'm so lonely. Lonely. That word pierced me. I was lonely too. Always lonely. In Provence, I was alone. In Paris, alone. At school, alone. At home, alone. And Jules, he'd been alone for 10 years, in a grave, in darkness. I got up, looked at the clock. 11:34. Parents asleep. I got dressed, jeans, hoodie, sneakers. Quietly went downstairs. Got a flashlight from the pantry. Went out the back door. The night was cold. Fog lay on the ground. The moon hid behind clouds. I walked to the cemetery. The gates were closed, but the fence was low. I climbed over. The cemetery at night was different. Not just creepy, alive. Shadows moved. Wind whispered. Trees creaked. I turned on the flashlight. The beam of light cut through the darkness. Walked down the path. To section 47. Voices sounded from all sides, louder, clearer, but I only listened to one. Jules's. You came! You really came! I reached his grave. Stopped. White marble glowed in the moonlight. The little angel looked at me with empty eyes. I'm here, I said. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. What do you want from me? Pause. I want to get out. Get out? From the earth, from the grave, from the darkness. But you're dead. How can you get out? You can help. You're special, Lucy. You're the only one who's heard us in. I don't know how long. Centuries, maybe. I don't understand. Dig! I recoiled. What? Dig! To the coffin. Open it. Touch my hand. And I can come back. That's impossible. It's possible, I know. I feel it. The connection between us. You're a conduit. You can bring me back. But I don't know how. You'll know when you touch. I looked at the grave. The earth was old, packed down by 10 years of rain and snow. I can't, please. I'm begging you. 10 years I've been here, alone, in the cold, in the darkness, not seeing light, not feeling warmth, not hearing voices, just silence, eternal silence. His voice broke. I just want to see the sky again. Just once. Just for a minute. I closed my eyes. This is madness. Absolute madness. But what if it works? What if I really can help? What if he's as lonely as I am? I opened my eyes. Okay, I'll try. I looked around. The cemetery was empty. Not a soul. Just me. And thousands of graves. I knelt in front of Jules's headstone. The ground was cold, wet from evening dew. Where do I start? I asked in a whisper. Just dig. With your hands, deeper and deeper, until you reach the coffin. That will take hours. I don't have tools. You have me, I'll help. Just start. I put my hands on the ground, cold, hard. Started digging, slowly, carefully. Earth trickled between my fingers. Cold, wet. Dug deeper. 1 centimeter. Another. A third. Nails filled with dirt. Fingers hurt. Keep going. You're doing great. I dug further. Rhythmically. Scooping earth. Throwing it aside. 5 minutes. 10. The hole deepened. Up to my wrist now. Will it hurt more? I asked. It will. But bear it. For me. Please. I dug. The earth became denser. Arms trembled from fatigue. The nail on my index finger cracked. Hurt sharply. Blood. I didn't stop. Kept digging. 15 minutes. 20. Hole up to my elbow. Arms covered in dirt, in blood, in sweat. A little more. I can feel it. You're close. I dug. Faster. More desperately. 25 minutes, and suddenly my fingers touched something hard. Not stone, not earth. Wood. I feel something. The coffin. You found the coffin. I kept digging, clearing the lid of earth. Old wood. Cracked. Rotten. 5 more minutes, and the lid was completely exposed. I sat in the hole up to my waist, arms covered in blood and dirt, breathing fast. Now open it. I felt for the edge of the lid. Pulled. Didn't budge. Pulled harder. The wood groaned, cracked. Again, the lid gave, lifted. One more effort. The lid opened. I shone the flashlight inside and saw it. A skeleton. Small. A child's. in rotted clothes, skull with empty eye sockets, bones of hands folded on the chest. I couldn't breathe. Don't be afraid. This is just a shell. What's left? I'm not this. What do I do? Touch my hand. Either one. Just touch. I looked at the bony fingers. This is madness. Absolute madness. But I'd gone too far to stop. I extended my hand, trembling, covered in dirt and blood. Slowly, centimeter by centimeter. Fingers approached the bones. Don't be afraid. I touched, and the world exploded. Light, blinding, white, searing, poured from the coffin, burst into the sky, like a pillar, like a spotlight. I couldn't look. Closed my eyes, with my hands, but the light burned through my eyelids. The earth shook. The grave glowed, like the sun, like a star, like an explosion. The air hummed, a high, thin sound, like electricity, like a scream. I felt heat, incredible heat, coming from the coffin, and power, enormous power, pulsing, alive. It flowed through my arm, through me, like electric current. Pain, sharp, cutting. I wanted to pull my hand back. Couldn't. It was stuck, as if frozen to the bones. The light got brighter, hotter. I screamed, but couldn't hear my own voice. Just the hum. Just the light. Just the pain. Seconds stretched into eternity, and suddenly, silence. Complete. Absolute. The light went out. Instantly. The heat left. The pain disappeared. I opened my eyes. Darkness. Just the moon. Just the stars. I was lying on the ground next to the hole. Didn't remember falling, breathing hard, heart pounding, arms shaking. I slowly sat up. Looked at the hole. Empty. Coffin open, but empty. No skeleton. It worked. A voice. Behind me. A living voice. Not from underground. Not a whisper. Real. I turned sharply and saw a boy. He stood 3 meters from me. Alive. Real. Breathing. 10 years old. Light hair, blue eyes, pale skin, very pale. Clothes torn, dirty, old. Jeans, t-shirt, all rotted. But he was alive. He looked at me, not believing, then looked at his hands, turned them over, made fists, opened them, touched his face, chest, stomach. I can feel, he whispered. I can feel my arms, skin, warmth. He fell to his knees, pressed his palms to the ground. Grass. I can feel grass. God, I forgot what it's like. Wet, cold, real. His voice trembled. Tears ran down his cheeks. He raised his face to the sky, closed his eyes. Moon, stars, wind, air, deep breath. I forgot how to breathe. Forgot the taste of air. He cried, quietly, uncontrollably. I couldn't move, just watched. This is real. This is really happening. I resurrected a dead person. Jules opened his eyes, looked at me. You did it. You really did it. He stood, stepped toward me. I instinctively pulled back. He stopped. Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. I just want to say thank you. Another step. I didn't move. He extended his hand. I looked at it. Pale but warm. Alive. Slowly extended mine, covered in dirt, in blood. Our hands touched. A handshake. Warm. Real. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for freeing me. His voice real. Not a whisper. Not an echo. A living voice. I didn't know what to say. How do you feel? He laughed. Quietly. Surprised? Strange. 10 years in darkness, and now light, air, sensations. It's overwhelming. He looked at the cemetery, at the rows of graves. 10 years I heard them. All of them. Thousands of voices. Whispering, crying, asking. And I couldn't do anything, just listened. In the darkness. Alone. He turned to me. but now I'm here. Thanks to you. What now? I asked. He blinked. I don't know. I didn't think past this. Just dreamed of getting out. We stood silently. Among graves, under the moon, I had resurrected a dead boy and had no idea what to do next. You can't stay here, I said. Someone will see you. Where would I go? My home? My family? I died 10 years ago. They think I'm dead? Because you were dead. But not now. Now I'm alive. I can go back to them. I grabbed his hand. Jules, think. You're 10 years old. You died 10 years ago. Your family now? How old? Your parents over 40? Brother or sister in their 20s? He fell silent, understanding slowly dawning. If you show up, what will they think? A ghost? A clone? An imposter? They'll take you away, study you, cut you, lock you in laboratories. And me? They'll accuse me of desecrating a grave, put me in jail. His face paled even more. I don't want to be caught again. Don't want to go back to the darkness. Then come with me, I'll hide you. My house is big. My parents are busy. They won't notice. Really? Really. He nodded. Okay, let's go. We walked to the exit, quietly, quickly, climbed over the fence. The streets were empty, 2 a.m. I brought him home. Through the backyard, through the back door, into the house, quietly. Parents asleep upstairs. Led him to the basement. Long stairs down, creaky steps. The basement was huge, old, damp, piles of boxes, old furniture. In the far corner, a small room, former pantry. I turned on the light. Dim bulb, yellow. The room was empty, just dust. You can stay here. I'll bring a mattress, blankets, food. Jules looked around. Small, cold, damp. But for him, this is better than a grave. He smiled, his first real smile. Thank you, Lucy. Wait here. I'll be right back. I went upstairs, quietly, to the attic. Found an old mattress, dragged it down, heavy, awkward, brought it to the basement, put it in the room, then blankets from the closet, a pillow, then to the kitchen, refrigerator, sandwiches, an apple, a bottle of water, everything to the basement. Jules sat on the floor, looking at his hands. Here, eat. You must be hungry. He took the sandwich, sniffed it. Cheese. Ham. I forgot the taste of food. Took a bite. Slowly. Chewed. His eyes widened. God. This is incredible. He ate hungrily. Like he hadn't eaten in 10 years. Because he hadn't. I watched. Couldn't believe this was real. He finished eating. Drank water. Thank you. Seriously. For everything. You're welcome. Pause. Jules. I have to ask. Do you remember? How you died? His face darkened. I remember. Car accident. My family and I were driving on vacation. A truck swerved into our lane. Impact. I was in the back seat, not buckled in. He touched the back of his head, hit my head, lost consciousness. Woke up in darkness, in the coffin. Realized I was dead, tried to scream. Nobody heard. His voice caught. Then I stopped feeling my body. Just my mind remained. In darkness, with the voices of other dead people. 10 years. A tear rolled down his cheek. 10 years. I didn't know what to say, just sat next to him. We sat in silence. 2 lonely children. One resurrected, the other a resurrector. Lucy? Yes. Are we friends now? I looked at him, pale, thin, with sad eyes. He'd been alone for 10 years. I'd been alone my whole life. Yes, Jules. We're friends. He smiled. A real warm smile. Finally, I had a friend, and I didn't care that he was dead. The first 3 days with Jules were strange. In the morning, I'd wake up, go to school, come back, straight to the basement. Brought him food, books, toys from the attic. We talked for hours about his life, about mine, about what it was like to be dead. Time doesn't exist there, he explained. No day, no night, Just nothing. Eternal nothing. You think listen to the voices of others, and suddenly you realize 10 years have passed. Or 10 minutes. No difference. What did you feel? Nothing. The body's dead. No sensations, just consciousness. Thinking, listening, waiting, hoping someone will hear. He looked at me. And then you came. I smiled. For the first time in a long time, the smile was genuine. Jules was smart, well-read, loved the same books as I did. The Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings. We discussed plots, argued about characters, laughed at jokes. For the first time, I had someone to talk to, someone who understood me. But there were problems. Jules couldn't leave the basement. Too dangerous. Parents might see. He had to sit in the small room. One light bulb. Cold, damp. On the fourth day, he started getting paler. Not just pale. Death pale. Are you okay? I asked. Yes, just tired. Probably not used to being alive. But I could see he was lying. Something wasn't right. The voices from the cemetery didn't stop. Every night. Every evening. When I was alone. Thousands of voices. Asking, pleading. Lucy, you helped him. Help me too. Please. I tried to ignore them. Closed the window, turned on music. But the voices penetrated everything. On the fifth day, I couldn't take it. After school, I went to the cemetery. Straight to the children's section. Dozens of small graves. All children. All dead. I stopped at one. Marie Laurent, 2010 to 2018. Our little princess. 8 years old. Died at 8. Hello? I called quietly. You came back. A girl's voice. Hi. Happy. You can hear me? Yes. I knew it. I saw how you helped Jules. Can you help me too? I looked at the grave. One more. If I resurrect Marie, there'll be 2. 2 are easier to hide than 9. Maybe one more won't hurt. How did you die? I asked. Drowned. In a pool. At a birthday party. Dove in and didn't come up. Seizure. Couldn't swim, choked. Her voice got quieter. I was so scared. Darkness. Cold. And then silence. 6 years of silence. Only 6? Yes. You're young. Probably can only hear those who died recently. Jules, 10 years. Me, 6. The other children here. From 2 to 10 years after death. That explained why I didn't hear the century-old dead. Okay, I said, I'll help. I came back at night. With a spade from the garden, dug faster. An hour instead of 30 minutes. Opened the coffin. A girl's skeleton, small, fragile. Touched her hand. Light, flash, pain. And Marie stood before me. 8 years old, light braids, green eyes, wide smile. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She jumped, like on a trampoline. I forgot what it's like to move. What it's like to jump. Energy bursting. I brought her home, to the basement, to Jules. He sat on the mattress, pale, tired. When he saw Marie, he perked up. You resurrected another one. Hi. I'm Marie. She extended her hand. Jules. They shook hands. 2 resurrected children. In my basement. I think we'll need another mattress, I said. Next was Thomas, 12 years old, red hair, freckles. Died in a car accident in 2020. I was riding my bike. A truck didn't see me, ran me over. Instantly. He didn't cry when he told the story. Just stated facts. 4 years in a grave. Not as long as Jules, but enough. Thomas was calm, thoughtful, loved chess. I brought a board from the attic. He and Jules played for hours. Then Sophie, 9 years old. Died of leukemia in 2019. Bald head, but beautiful brown eyes. Kind smile. I knew I was going to die. The doctors warned me. I was sick for 2 years. Chemotherapy didn't help. She touched her head. Will my hair grow back? Now that I'm alive? I don't know, I admitted. It's okay. The important thing is I'm here. Sophie loved to draw. I brought paper and pencils. She drew landscapes, flowers, people, beautifully, professionally. Mom taught me. She's an artist. Was an artist. I don't know if she's still alive. Sadness in her voice. 4. In the basement. Hidden from the world. My secret friends. With 4 children, problems started. First, food. The refrigerator emptied faster than usual. Mom noticed. Lucy, are you eating more? Yeah, growing kid. Good. I'll go to the store. Second, noise. 4 children can't sit quietly all the time. They whispered, laughed, played. Dad once asked, "Did you hear strange sounds from the basement?" Pipes, probably. The house is old. He nodded, but looked suspicious. Third, Jules. He was getting paler, weaker. Are you sure you're okay? I asked on the 8th day. Yes, just tired. But he could barely stand. I was worried. What if resurrection is temporary? What if he dies again? No, don't think about that. Everything will be fine. Has to be fine. In the second week, I resurrected 3 more. Lucas, 11 years old, fell off his bike in 2021, smashed his head, quiet, shy, loved to read. We exchanged books. Amelie, 7 years old, pneumonia in 2022, very recent, the youngest, talkative, cheerful, attached to me immediately. You're like a big sister, she said. I smiled. I'd never been a big sister. Etienne, 10 years old, drowned in a river in 2017. Serious, responsible. Took on the role of eldest among the children. We have to help Lucy, not make noise, not create problems. 7 children in the basement. I brought mattresses, blankets, food. The basement turned into a refuge. The children played, read, talked, laughed. For the first time in years, they lived. But I saw it. Jules was getting weaker. Marie was starting to pale too. Something was wrong. Something important. But I didn't know what. The last were Charlotte and Pierre. Charlotte, 12 years old. Suicide in 2023. She didn't tell the details. Just tired. Of everything. Thought it would be better. Pause. I was wrong. She was quiet. Withdrawn. Sat in the corner with a book. But sometimes, when the children laughed, I saw her smile. A small, sad smile. As if she'd forgotten how. Pierre, 8 years old. Allergic reaction in 2016. Nuts. Ate a cookie with nuts. Didn't know the allergy was deadly. Suffocated in minutes. Pierre was curious. Asked a million questions. Why can you hear us? How does resurrection work? Are we alive forever? I didn't know the answer to the last question. 9 children. All in the basement. All hidden. All my friends. For the first time in my life, I had a family. Strange. Dead. Secret. But a family. And I was happy. But happiness doesn't last long. On the 14th day after Jules' resurrection, Etienne asked, "By the way, Jules, when's your birthday?" Jules looked up from his book. October 15th. Amelie jumped. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's your birthday. Not exactly. I'd be 20. But I died at 10. Still, we have to celebrate. The children started chattering, planning, coming up with ideas. I ran to the store, bought a cake, candles, presents, books, games, candy. In the evening, when the parents went to bed, I went down to the basement. The children had decorated the room. Paper garlands, Sophie's drawings on the walls, cake in the center, candles burning. Happy birthday, Jules, everyone in unison. He looked at the cake, tears in his eyes. I thought I'd never celebrate a birthday again. Thought I'd be dead forever. He blew out the candles, made a wish. We ate cake, laughed, played games. It was the best evening of my life. But then when the party ended, I noticed. Jules could barely stand, leaning against the wall, skin gray, lips blue. Jules, are you okay? He tried to smile, tired. Too much emotion. But I knew. This wasn't tiredness. This was something else. Something terrible. On the 15th day, Jules didn't get out of bed. Cold, he whispered. So cold. I covered him with 3 blankets. Didn't help. Jules, what's happening? I don't know. I feel like I'm being pulled back. Back? Where? He looked at me, fear in his eyes. To the grave. My heart dropped. No, no, that's impossible. You're alive, you're breathing. But I was dead. 10 years. Maybe this is temporary? The word hung in the air. Temporary. No, it can't be. I won't let it. Rest. Tomorrow will be better. He nodded, closed his eyes. I went upstairs, to my room, turned on the laptop, searched. Resurrection of the dead. Is it possible to bring back the dead? Temporary resurrection? Nothing. Just myths. Religion, fiction, nothing real. I searched until 3 in the morning. No results. Went to bed but couldn't sleep. Jules is dying. Again. And I don't know how to save him. Morning of the 16th day. I went down to the basement with breakfast. The children sat around Jules, silent, scared. He lay on the mattress, not moving. Jules, I called. His eyes opened, slowly, with difficulty. Lucy, his voice weak, barely audible. I knelt beside him, touched his forehead. Ice cold. Not just cold. Death. Cold. What's wrong with you? I feel the darkness. It's coming back. Calling me. Tears rolled down his cheeks. I don't want to go back. Please, don't want to go to the grave. You won't. I won't let you. But I didn't know how to stop it. He took my hand, weakly, barely squeezed my fingers. Thank you. For 3 weeks. The best 3 weeks of my life. Well, afterlife. He tried to smile. I was happy. Thanks to you. Don't talk like that. Like you're saying goodbye because I am. His breathing became slower, weaker, eyes closing. Jules! No, don't close your eyes. Jules! Last exhale. Silence. His hand went limp in mine, body turned cold. Jules was dead, again. Finally. I didn't cry, didn't scream, just sat there, holding his cold hand, the children around me silent, shocked. 3 weeks? He lived exactly 3 weeks, and it wasn't a coincidence. The next morning, Marie died. Same way. Suddenly, cold, paleness. Breathing stopped. A day later, Thomas, then Sophie, then Lucas. Every day, one after another, in the same order, I resurrected them, as if a clock was ticking from the moment of resurrection. Exactly 21 days, 3 weeks, then death. I sat in the basement among the bodies. 9 children's bodies. Cold, dead. My friends. Emily died last, a little 7-year-old girl. Before dying, she whispered, "Thank you for giving me time, even if it was short." Then she closed her eyes forever. I didn't cry. Tears ran out after Jules just sat there among the bodies, in silence. 3 weeks, that was the limit. Resurrection is temporary, only 3 weeks of life, then back to death. I gave them 3 weeks of hope, then took it away. Worse than murder, I let them taste life, and took it away again. "I'm sorry," I whispered. Sorry. But apologies won't bring them back. Nothing will. They're dead. Forever. And I'm to blame. I couldn't hide 9 bodies. Couldn't bury them. Couldn't burn them. Just couldn't. I went upstairs, parents in the kitchen having breakfast, stopped in the doorway. Mom. Dad. I need to show you something. Mom looked up. What, honey? Just follow me. Please. The tone of my voice scared them. They stood, followed, down the stairs, into the basement, to the far room. I opened the door. Mom saw first. A scream. Piercing. Terrifying. Dad froze. Face went white. God, oh my God. 9 bodies. Children's. On mattresses. Cold. Dead. Lucy. Mom's voice trembled. What is this? Who is this? My friends. What? I resurrected them. From the cemetery. They were my friends, but then they died. After 3 weeks. I didn't know it was temporary. My voice broke. I'm sorry, Mom. I just wanted friends. Someone. Mom fell to her knees, hands shaking. Dad stood, shocked, unable to speak. Then he found his voice. Mark, call the police. Mom got out her phone, with trembling fingers, dialed the number. Hello, police? I need help. At my house, bodies. Children's bodies. 9. No, I'm not my daughter. She says she resurrected them. Voice hysterical. I sat on the floor, hugged my knees. It's over. Police will come. They'll take me away, but I didn't care anymore. My friends are dead. What else matters? Police arrived in 15 minutes. 6 cars, sirens, flashing lights. The whole neighborhood woke up. Captain Dubois, a man about 50, gray-haired, tired, came up to the basement, saw the bodies, face stony, professional. But I saw shock in his eyes. Names. I need all the names. Dad read the tags on the clothes. Jules Moreau, Marie Laurent, Thomas Bernard, Sophie Durand. The captain was writing them down. Jules Moreau died in 2015? Yes, sir. That's impossible. He called the cemetery, ordered them to check the graves. 10 minutes later, a call. Captain, the graves are dug up. All 9. Coffin's empty. The captain slowly lowered the phone, looked at me. You did this? I nodded. How? I hear them. The dead. They asked for help. I dug, touched their hands, and they came alive. And you brought them here, yes, hid them. 3 weeks. Then they died. Again. The captain sat down, heavily, like his legs wouldn't hold him. This is impossible. But it's true. Check the DNA. It's them, the real ones. He nodded to the forensics team. Take samples. DNA. Cross-reference with the database. Then he looked at me. You understand what you've done? Desecration of graves. 9 graves. I didn't desecrate. I freed them. The law doesn't distinguish. He stood up. Lucy Dupont, you're under arrest. By evening, the news had spread through Paris. By midnight, through France. By morning, the whole world. Girl resurrected 9 dead children. Miracle or hoax? Graves empty, bodies found. DNA matches. These are the real children. The world went crazy. Media besieged the house. Cameras, reporters, microphones. Lucy, how did you do it? Is this a miracle? A gift from God? Police set up a cordon. I was placed under house arrest while the investigation was ongoing. My parents didn't talk to me, just looked, shocked, scared, like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. A girl who resurrects the dead. Who would have thought? On the 3rd day, they interrogated me. Captain Dubois, a recorder. Protocol. Lucy, tell me everything. From the beginning. I told him. Everything. The move. The voices. The cemetery. Jules. The other children. 3 weeks. Death. He listened. Wrote. Didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. This is the most incredible story I've ever heard. But it's true. I know. DNA confirmed it. These really are those children. Pause. Lucy, outside, there are thousands of people. All want you to resurrect their loved ones. I was silent. Can you? Resurrect adults? Old people? I don't know. I only resurrected children. But will you try? I looked at him. Why? They'll die in 3 weeks. What's the point? Lucy, imagine a mother who lost a child. 3 weeks with him is a gift, a chance to say goodbye, to say, I'm sorry, to say, I love you. He leaned forward. Isn't that worth it? I thought. Jules was happy. 3 weeks, but happy. Marie laughed. Thomas played. Sophie drew. They lived, even if not for long, but they lived. Maybe 3 weeks of happiness is better than eternity in a grave. I'll think about it, I said. Morning of the fourth day. I woke to noise. Went to the window. The house was surrounded. Not by hundreds of people. Thousands. From all over France. From all over Europe. From all over the world. Cars filled the street. Tents on the lawns. Signs in hands. Bring back my son. Resurrect my daughter. Please help. Just for a day. Screaming. Crying. Begging. Police tried to hold back the crowd. Barriers, cordons. But there were too many people. I watched, stunned. All this because of me. Mom came into the room, face pale, tired. Lucy, Captain Dubois wants to talk. Again. I went downstairs. Captain in the living room, with a folder of documents. Lucy, sit down. I sat. The government has made a decision. You'll help people. Under supervision. Following protocol. What protocol? Resurrection only by application. Only those who died recently, no more than a year. Only with family consent, no criminal elements. He opened the folder. We've compiled a list. 50 families. Who lost children? Want to say goodbye? Save final words. I looked at the list. Names, photos, stories. All children, all dead. All someone's loved ones. When do we start? I asked. The next day they took me to Père Lachaise Cemetery. Police escort, cameras, crowds of people behind barriers. The first family waited by the grave. Mother, father, older sister, all in black. The grave was small, fresh, 2 months ago. Max LeBlanc, 2019 to 2024. Beloved son, 5 years old. Leukemia. The mother was crying, quietly, hopelessly. Please, she whispered, bring back my boy. Even just for a day. I looked at the captain. He nodded. I knelt down, started digging. The earth was fresh, loose. Dug quickly. 20 minutes. Coffin. I opened it. A small body, pale, recently deceased, touched his hand. Flash of light. Max opened his eyes. Alive. A 5-year-old boy. Scared. Confused. Where? Where am I? The mother fell to her knees, grabbed him, pressed him to her chest. Max, my baby! You're here! Mommy? They hugged, cried, kissed. The father joined, the sister, all together. Family, reunited. I stepped back, gave them time. The captain stood nearby, watched, a tear on his cheek. 3 weeks, he said quietly. They know, but they don't care. 3 weeks with him is all they want. I nodded. Maybe he's right. Maybe 3 weeks of happiness are worth the pain of parting. Maybe. The next day I resurrected 5. The day after, 10. A week later, 50. News spread. Instantly. Globally. It works. Girl really resurrects. 3 weeks of life. A gift for families. Applications kept coming. Hundreds. Thousands. Governments created queues, lists, lotteries. I worked nonstop. Paris, London, Berlin, Madrid, Rome, cemetery after cemetery. Dig, touch, resurrect. Again. And again. And again. Families paid everything they had. Sold houses, cars, everything. For 3 weeks. I didn't take money. Didn't want to, but people insisted, gave to governments, foundations, anyone, as long as I resurrected their loved ones. In 2 weeks, the count went to hundreds. In a month, thousands. The resurrected were everywhere, in homes, on streets, in parks, living ghosts, knowing they'd die in 3 weeks. Some were happy, spent time with families. Others were not. The first incident happened a month in. Moscow. They resurrected an oligarch, died 6 months ago. Stroke, the family asked. Wanted to say goodbye, but it was a lie. His competitors resurrected him, brought him to the office, forced him to sign documents, transfer the company. threatened his family. Sign and we'll let you go. Don't sign and we'll kill them. He signed. An hour later, they shot him. Second time. News exploded. Resurrected used for fraud. Police investigate murder twice. Captain Dubois called me. Lucy, we need to be more careful. Check applications more thoroughly. I can't control who gets resurrected. I know, but we'll try. But it was too late. Pandora had opened the box, and evil burst out. Second incident. New York. The mafia resurrected a debtor. Died a year ago. Suicide. Tortured him for 3 days. Beat information out of him. Where's the money? Where are the drugs? He told them. They killed him. Again. Third incident. Tokyo. A suicide bomber. Died in a terrorist attack in 2023. His accomplices resurrected him. Gave him a new bomb. You're already dead. What do you have to lose? Do it again. He agreed. Blew up a train station. 43 victims. He was blown to pieces. Again. Fourth, fifth, 10th. The resurrected were being used for fraud, for murder, for terrorism, because they had nothing to lose. 3 weeks until death. Why not use them? The world was changing, getting darker, more dangerous, scarier. And I was to blame. Day 65, 50,000 resurrected worldwide. All knew they had 3 weeks. Some spent time with families, peacefully, calmly. Others didn't. Paris. A resurrected husband found his wife with a lover, shot them both, turned himself in to police with a smile. I don't care. I'll be dead in a week. What will they do to me? Prison? Execution? I'm already dead. London. A resurrected teenager. Died of an overdose a year ago. Came back, found out who sold him the drugs. Set the dealer's house on fire. Him inside. Alive. The boy didn't hide. Waited for police. He killed me. I killed him. Fair, Berlin. A resurrected woman. Murdered by her husband a year ago. Came back. Found him. New house, new wife. Stabbed them both. In front of the children. He took my life. I took his. Story after story. The resurrected took revenge. Killed. Robbed. Burned. Police couldn't cope. How do you stop someone who's already dead? How do you punish someone who will die in a week? Day 86. The first wave of resurrected reached the limit. 50,000 people. All died. In one day. On streets, in homes, in cars, in planes. Just collapsed. Stopped breathing. Instantly. Chaos. Panic. Bodies everywhere. Ambulances couldn't keep up. Morgues overflowed. Cemeteries swamped. Governments declared states of emergency. But it was too late. Because I kept resurrecting. Second wave. 100,000. Third, 500,000. Fourth, 2 million. Applications didn't stop. People begged, paid, demanded. Governments couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop it. The world was drowning in resurrections and in deaths. Day 121. The economy collapsed. Banks closed. Stock markets crashed. Currency devalued. People spent everything on resurrections, not on food, not on housing, on resurrections. Stores looted. Warehouses empty. Trucks don't run. Drivers resurrected. Died on the roads. Electricity cut in 40 cities. Engineers resurrected. Died at their posts. Internet down. Communications gone. Planes grounded. Civilization was stopping. Slowly. Irreversibly. Terrifyingly. Day 157. War began. Living against resurrected. Resurrected against resurrected. Everyone. Against everyone. Paris burned. Barricades in the streets. Gunfire. Explosions. London in ruins. Big Ben destroyed. Bridges blown up. New York under siege. Army in the city. Curfew. Tokyo evacuated. Half the population fled. Moscow in chaos. Resurrected rebels stormed the Kremlin. The world was dying. Civilization was collapsing. Humanity was disappearing. And I watched, from the window, at burning Paris, at smoke, at fires, at destruction. All this because of me. I wanted friends and destroyed the world. Day 191. The house was stormed by a mob, not living, resurrected, angry, desperate, knowing they'd die in days. They wanted me, some to kill, revenge for the curse of temporary life. Others to force me to keep resurrecting, again, endlessly. Police had left a week ago. City in chaos. No time for protection. I sat in my room, door locked, listened to screams downstairs. Gunshots, Dad. Defending the house. Gun in hands, fired. Once, twice, 3 times. But there were too many. A scream, short, cut off. Then silence. Mom burst into the room, face covered in blood. Not hers. Lucy. Hide. Under the bed. Don't come out, no matter what happens. Mom, what about Dad? She didn't answer. Closed the door, locked it from outside. I heard her steps, running downstairs, then her voice, screaming, "Leave my daughter alone!" Sounds of struggle. Furniture falling, glass breaking, a gunshot, a scream. Silence. I sat under the bed, trembling, crying, silently. Didn't dare come out. Heard the mob searching the house, breaking doors, looking for me. Then someone steps at my door, tried the handle, locked, hit the door. Another, third, wood cracking. I pressed my hand over my mouth. Didn't breathe. Another hit. The door couldn't take it. Burst open. Steps in the room. She's not here. Search. She must be somewhere. They turned things over, opened closets. Someone bent down, looked under the bed. I squeezed my eyes shut. Empty. They left. Steps fading. Shouts, crashes. Then silence. The mob left. I lay under the bed for another hour. Didn't move. Then slowly crawled out. Went downstairs. House destroyed. Furniture broken. Windows smashed. Entrance hall. Dad lay by the door. Face down. Pool of blood around him. Living room. Mom on the floor. Arms spread. Eyes open. Empty. I fell to my knees between them. Didn't cry, didn't scream, just sat. Among my parents' bodies, in the destroyed house, in the dying world. Alone, as always. Always alone. There was nobody to bury them. Police didn't come. Ambulance didn't come. The system had collapsed. I dragged the bodies out to the yard myself, dug holes myself, shallow, not deep, hands in blood, in dirt, like the first time. When I dug Jules's grave, lowered Dad into the hole, then Mom, buried them, earth on bodies, on faces, forever. Put stones instead of headstones, sat next to them, looked at the fresh graves. I'm sorry, I whispered. Sorry for destroying everything. Wind rustled leaves. The city burned in the distance. Smoke covered the sky. I got up, went back to the house. Empty, cold, dead, like everything around day 200. Paris was dead, streets empty, stores looted, cars abandoned, bodies everywhere. Resurrected who'd reached the limit. Just fell and stayed. Nobody cleaned up, nobody to. I walked the streets, alone, looking for food, water, anything. Found a store, half empty. But cans remained. Filled my backpack, bottles of water. Went outside. In the square stood a group of people, living. About 10. They looked at me, recognized me. That's her, one hissed. The girl. Who started it all? They moved toward me. I ran. They chased. Stop. Murder. The world died because of you. I ran. Turned into alleys, jumped over bodies. They fell behind, got tired. I stopped, breathing hard, leaned against a wall. Murderer. Yes, I'm a murderer. Not directly, but indirectly. 3 billion dead because of me. Tears flowed. I didn't wipe them. Just stood there, cried. Alone in the dead city. I didn't know where to go. House empty. Parents dead. City dead. Automatically walked to the cemetery. Père Lachaise. Where it all began. Gates open, nobody there. Entered. The cemetery had changed. Hundreds of new graves. Fresh. Recent. Victims of chaos. Wars. The resurrected. I walked among them. Read names. Familiar. Unfamiliar. All dead. Reached section 47. Grandpa's grave, untouched. Miraculously. Sat next to it. Hi, Grandpa. Haven't been here in a while. Voice hoarse. Weak. Sorry. I messed everything up. You'd be disappointed in me. Wind. Silence. Mom and Dad are dead, did you know? They're where you are in the darkness, alone. Tears again. I wanted to resurrect them. Bring them back. Even for 3 weeks. But I'm afraid. Afraid of making it worse. I lay down on the ground, next to the grave. Closed my eyes. Maybe I'll just stay here. Die of hunger. Thirst. Join them in the darkness. Forever. Young lady? A voice. Living. Real. I opened my eyes, sat up. An old man stood a few meters away. About 70, thin, pale, leaning on a cane. Are you the one? Who resurrects? I nodded. Tiredly. Yes, that's me. He slowly approached, sat on the ground next to me, was silent, looked at the headstones, then spoke. My wife died yesterday. Heart. Old age. We lived together for 52 years. His voice trembled. I didn't get to say goodbye. She died in her sleep. Peacefully. But I didn't tell her. So many things I didn't say. He looked at me. Can you bring her back? Even for a day? I looked at him. Old. Broken. Lonely. Like me. Why? I asked. She'll die in 3 weeks. You'll suffer again, I know. But 3 weeks with her is better than life without her. Are you sure? Yes, I thought. For a long time. The whole world collapsed because of resurrections. Billions dead. I swore to myself, never again. But this old man, he's not asking out of greed, not out of revenge, just out of love. Pure, simple, honest, maybe one last resurrection? For him. For love. To prove that not everything is lost. Okay, I said, one last time. He led me to a fresh grave. Martha Dubois, 1953 to 2025. Beloved wife and mother. I started digging for the last time. The earth was soft, fresh. Dug quickly. 30 minutes. Coffin. Opened it. An old woman. Gray hair. Peaceful face. Beautiful. Even in death. I touched her hand. Flash of light. Weaker than usual. Dimmer. But it worked. Martha opened her eyes. Slowly. Confused. Where? Where am I? The old man fell to his knees. Grabbed her hands. Martha. My Martha. Jean, what's happening? I thought I died. You did. But you came back. For 3 weeks. Only for 3 weeks, he cried, uncontrollably. I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't say goodbye. Sorry for all the fights, all the hurts, everything. She stroked his face, smiled. Silly. We have nothing to forgive. 52 years of happiness? Isn't that enough? Not enough. I want 50 more. We have 3 weeks. Let's live them like they're forever. They hugged, cried, laughed, kissed. I watched, tears in my eyes. This is it. What it was worth. Not power, not money, not revenge. Love. Pure, real, eternal. I quietly stepped back. Gave them time. This was right. The last resurrection. For love. 3 weeks later. All the resurrected were dead. Again. Finally, Martha died in Jean's arms, peacefully, happily. He buried her, himself, next to the first grave. Then he hanged himself, in their house. Couldn't live without her. I found him a week later, note on the table. Thank you for 3 weeks. The best 3 weeks of my life after her death. Now I go to her. Forever. I buried him next to Martha. 2 graves. Together. Side by side. Forever. Earth's population decreased by 30%. 3 billion died. In chaos. In wars. In madness. Cities in ruins. Governments fell. Economy collapsed. Civilization went back a century. Survivors gathered in communities, small, closed, trying to restore order, slowly, painfully. The world was surviving, barely, but surviving. And I sat in the empty Père Lachaise cemetery, alone among thousands of graves, old ones and new ones. So many new ones. My parents' graves a few meters away. I came every day, sat, talked. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. How are things in the darkness? Wind. Silence. The world's slowly recovering. People are coming back. Stores opening. Electricity's back on in some places. Pause. They're looking for me. Want to put me on trial. For everything. For 3 billion. For chaos. For wars. I smiled, sadly. Maybe they're right. I'm guilty. I know. Put flowers on the graves. I just wanted friends. Someone. Even for a while. Tears rolled. I'm sorry. Sorry for destroying the world, trying to stop being lonely. Wind rustled leaves. Crows circled over the crypts. And I heard it. Again, the whisper. Thousands of voices. From graves. Familiar sound. Lucy, help. We're still here, please. I raise my head, the voices again, always. They'll never leave, never be silent. The dead always call, always ask, forever. No, I whispered. Not anymore. Enough. But the voices didn't fade. Please. Just once. We're so lonely. I stood, looked at the grave next to me. Fresh. Mark DuPont. 1985 to 2025. Loving father. My father. Next to it, another. Claire DuPont. 1987 to 2025. Loving mother. Mom, Dad, are you calling me too? Silence. Just whined. They weren't calling. Silent. Maybe they didn't want to come back. See what I'd done. Maybe they were better there, in the darkness, in peace. Away from the destroyed world. I knelt down at my father's grave, put my hand on the earth, cold, hard, one movement, start digging, touch his hand, and they'd come back. For 3 weeks, I could say I'm sorry. They'd say we forgive, or not. Maybe they'd say, we hate you, murderer, monster. Maybe that's what I am. I removed my hand, stood up. Sleep peacefully. I won't come back for you, I promise. Turned around, walked away from the cemetery. The voices called, begged. I didn't look back, walked away. Forever. Some dead need to stay dead. Some wounds don't heal. Some mistakes can't be fixed. I made a choice. 10 years ago. In this cemetery. The wrong choice. Now I live with the consequences. Alone, as always. As I should be. 5 years passed, the world recovered. Partially, slowly, cities rebuilt. Governments returned. Life goes on. They never found me. Hiding. New name, new life. Work in a library. Small town, nobody knows. Live alone, quietly, invisibly. Sometimes at night I hear voices, the dead, calling. But I don't answer. Never. I'm not that girl anymore. Who wanted friends? I'm a woman who destroyed the world and lives with that burden until the end of my days, alone in silence and repentance, forever. This is a story about how some doors are better left unopened, some wishes better not granted, some dead better not resurrected, because death isn't the end, and resurrection isn't the beginning. It's just a postponement, temporary, cruel, destructive. Lucy wanted friends, got them, for 3 weeks, and lost the world. Sometimes the kindest intentions lead to the most terrible consequences. Sometimes loneliness isn't a curse, but protection. From yourself, from others, from the temptation to change what can't be changed. This was Graveyard Whispers, the story of a girl who heard the dead and regretted it until the end of her days. Some stories don't have happy endings. This is one of them.